got a little bit of time before we get Roger Homefield on with us. I have got to tell you about my new favorite, I guess, obsession? I guess we could do an obsession? I don't know. By the way, welcome back to it. It is the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. We are live coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio today, AMFM247.com. Of course, our good friends over there at The Mix on Tuesdays. And on Sundays, you can listen to us on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island, of all places. 2 Central, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard each and every day. Over there at JiggyJaguar.com. On the TuneIn apps, and of course, on-demand archived audio available at iHeartRadio, because of course we can't use the P word. The radio industry does not like the P word. Live videos available on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook. You know, now that Elon Musk, as Bubba the Love Sponge calls him, or as Trump calls him, Elon! Maybe he'll bring back Periscope. I always hope that he brings back Periscope. I like Periscope. I liked Periscope. I got a lot of views on videos on Periscope. A lot more than anywhere else that we post our crap. 50 plus AM/FM stations across the country and around the world. And of course, you can find us. BitChute, Clout Hub, Rumble. And then we're on these little conservative social media sites. I never go on them unless I'm posting our content to them. We're on Gab, whatever the hell that is. We're on something called MeWe, whatever the hell that is. We're on that thing that they tried to con Kanye into buying, Getter. We're all over the place. We're, of course, on the Twitter machine, which, by the way, I am never going to refer to it as X. Because every time I think of X, I think of CM Punk, or I think of X Gonna Give It To You, the DMX song. So, the last couple weeks, not even a week, hadn't even been a week, there is a group of guys. We're going to pull up some video here. There are a group of guys across the country. There is, a couple years ago, I got on something called Street Beefs. Apparently, it's a thing, as the kids say. And I get the impression it's just a bunch of knuckleheads fighting each other in backyards. Although, I will have to say that watching over the last, I don't know, couple years, I've noticed, much like when we were doing Box-A-Buddy, if anybody remembers Box-A-Buddy, when we were doing Box-A-Buddy locally, let me see here, they've posted a new video. Let's see what Street Beefs are doing. Of course, it's a Humana ad. Well, you know, Humana is health insurance, and at least they know their audience. Let's advertise before a fighting video. But, yes. But apparently, something called Street Beefs, and they have these guys fight in a backyard somewhere in Virginia. And originally, I think it was just a bunch of knuckleheads fighting each other. However, they have now gotten to the point, besides having sponsors, which I think is pretty impressive, they have now gotten to the point where they basically, we're going to take that off there. I don't give a shit about their fan up or whatever the hell this is. Apparently they have these guys and they fight each other. And they fight in a cage. And originally I think it was just a bunch of knuckleheads fighting each other. But now they're starting to slowly train, get in shape, Go to boxing gyms, go to kickboxing gyms. It's slowly becoming a legitimate organization. Now, there's still some knuckleheads, as you can see here. Both of these guys are knuckleheads. I don't know who Hooligan is, and I don't know what a Papa Ingrata is, as the great Rush Limbaugh would say. I don't know where a Papa Ingrata works, and I don't know what a Papa Ingrata does. I do love the fact that Humana, I think that's got to be a rib. Humana advertising before Street Beefs on YouTube. That's got to be a rib on YouTube on the Street Beefs, guys. But the Street Beefers, as I like to call them, the Street Beefers, just like I call them the Bare Knucklers, Black-Hearted, and he's a black guy. Shocking. Wild Bill, who looks like a guy named Bill who's wild. This is amazing. Well, and I don't give a shit about your sponsor. Apparently, they box, they kickbox, they do all this stuff. They have mouthpieces, they have gloves. They Wild Bill looks like he could throw down. He looks like he could take it to somebody. He's not obviously taking it to this guy. But as McMahon would say. But they have a video crew. It looks like they're shooting with multiple cameras. It looks like they're shooting this shit in 4K. This is amazing. The Street Beefers, as I like to call them. Pretty impressed with that Black-Hearted guy. I was having a conversation the other day with somebody. Apparently there is a local organization, and I don't think they're probably affiliated with the actual Street Beefs people. They're probably stealing their intellectual property here in Kansas and doing their own version of Street Beefs. I can almost guarantee you. But these Street Beefs guys, they have come into my orbit. I joined their Facebook group, their National Street Beefs Facebook group a while back. And I started looking at some of the different people that post in this group. And a lot of these guys are not like this Black-Hearted guy that we showed earlier. The Black-Hearted guy looks like he'd put an ass whipping on somebody. So I get on there one day, and popping in on my timeline, as the kids say, on my Facebook feed, is this guy with a replica title belt. Of course, everybody's got a replica title belt anymore. I've even got one. I even had one when I was fighting in the smoker fights here locally. And it's amazing that these guys, we're going to have to go to Roger Homefield here in a few. I'll pick this up. I'll pick this back up. If you're watching us on BitChute, Clout Hub, anywhere else, you're going to see not an issue in the conversation, but Beeps thing. So let's get back into it. The Street Beefs, the Street Beefers, as I call them. I just like to refer to them like I do the Bare Knucklers. Because I don't take these guys serious. These guys are nobodies. Let me tell you right now. Anybody that knows anything about my background in combat sports knows that I could beat any of them. Any of them. The Street Beefers. Given enough time, here's the thing. Given enough time to train, which depending on who it was, given enough time to train, given enough sparring, given enough time to get my conditioning to where it needed to be, I could beat any of these fucking guys. Let's be honest. So I did some digging. I'm trying to find. Well, let's take this in two sections. One, I had my issue where I triggered the street beefers. I was in this Facebook group. I then went in and some random schmuck who has a replica title belt who looked like he was out of shape and one of these guys that probably is a swinger, swing. Not the kind of guy that would have sex with my wife. Different swinger. Hell, that guy would probably have sex with my wife too. Who knows what's going on there? So I got on and I looked at this thing and he put something in there about how he was going to defend his title. He's going to defend his replica belt. So I went in and I said, I think I could probably beat you. Because he made some comment about how he could take anybody down. And I said, yes, I could take you down. I'll tell you. I could take him down probably with absolutely no anything going on. Just give me some time to stretch. give me 10 minutes. Or as Road Warrior Hawk used to say, I could show up at his house at 4 a.m. and I could say, hey, we're going to go get into a fight. And his response would be, let me get my shoes. That would be how I would take out this guy with his replica title belt. And then some other guy, I don't know if it was the guy or if it was a moderator. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the guy that founded the organization. Who knows? Goes in there and says, talk is cheap. I always do that when I'm making fun of the big tough guys. I always go, buh. He smells. All that stuff. I went ahead and responded that I lift close to 400 pounds on deadlift. And I would take him down in one round or less, and I would just take that belt, and it would look nice on the wall, and it would. Hell, I'd hang it right behind us. I would reposition. I would hang it right behind us like our pin down. I would reposition our entire studio and the cameras so I could have that guy's belt hanging behind me. Every time I did a video or a podcast or a radio show or anything, it would be hanging, and I could point to it, and I could say, whatever he was. Let's say he's the Street Beefs heavyweight champion. I know he's not, but the Street Beefs heavyweight champion. And I would point at me, but you would have the belt behind me. It would be kind of a cool visual. And I just came up with that on the fly there. The moderator comes in and says that I was disrespectful and he was going to ban me from the group. Okay, let me get this straight. They're a group of guys who get together and fight in a thing called Street Beefs. And a guy goes in and talks smack. I go in and start a beef with him, which would probably end on the street. And I was banned from the group. Whatever. So then this guy has become my best friend. He is stalking every fighting post that I have on Facebook. So the other day I posted a photo of when we fought the werewolf. And I dressed up like a woman. I wore one of Britney's dresses. I had a pink wig. I think it was Crystal's pink wig. The Crystal's kid, Crystal. Or Crystal's kid, Crystal. Britney's kid, Crystal. Jesus. I've done too many street beefs. I'm all punchy. I'm punchy from the street beefs. Woo! As Merkel would say. And you're probably asking yourself, if you're one of the street beefs guys, who is Burka? And that's the question. Who is Burka? Go look up Alan Burka on our YouTube channel, and you will get the answer up to who Burka is. And I wore high heels, and I carried my belt like it was a purse. And I had the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Mr. Fitness 2, there with his shake weight as my manager. Or he walked me to the ring or something. I don't know what it was. But And this guy went in and he laughed and all the stuff. Here's the deal. I decided then to go get on the Street Beefs. I decided I'm going to go track down who their heavyweight champion is. Who is the heavyweight champion of Street Beefs? That I could not find. These guys have been on ESPN. They have been on, they've made documentaries about them on YouTube. They're all over the place. They're the biggest thing you can think of. They have got millions, in fact, 3.1 million subscribers on YouTube. They are amazing what they have done. They've got sponsors. They've got a Hall of Fame. They've got, you see the videos on YouTube. They've got sponsors. They're an incredible organization. But I can't find any rankings or who their champions are. So I did some checking, and I found a Reddit post from 4 years ago, which I'm sure is not accurate. They have something called microweight, which I love. Turk won over butterfly. Of course, butterfly would be a microweight. They have a 140 plus, 165, 185, 205, 220, 250 plus. I love the 205 champion. His name is Cornflake the Serial Killer. That is amazing. You know, I would love to just interview these guys on the radio show. I don't want to fight any of them. I just want to interview them. They're amazing. They have a guy named the Animal. Animal. He's the 220-pound guy. And then 250-plus guy, super heavyweight champ, is just named D. Letter D. Not D-E-E. Not D. Just D. And not just D, just the letter D. That's it. Now, I couldn't find who the heavyweight champion of Street Beefs is. Now, if you go into the Googler, as I like to call it, and I type in Street Beefs, I pull up their YouTube. And I go over and I get on their website, streetbeefshq.com, which it's got to be, you got to do something different there, guys. It's got to be streetbeefs.com or something. You're a huge deal. You need to be something other than, you've got to be something other than Street Beefs HQ. That is terrible, as Charles Barkley would say. Terrible. Now, I did find a guy at this event with a belt. There's a photo of a guy with a belt. I love the stuff where these guys say, do you get paid for fighting at Street Beefs? No, you do not receive money for fighting at Street Beefs. It is illegal in the state of Virginia to pay amateur fighters. Street Beefs recently introduced promoting fighters who wish to pursue a pro career. You know, I'll tell you, honestly, they're going to end up finding the next Kimbo Slice. That's what they're going to end up doing. And that's probably why this thing was started. Because they're trying to find the next Kimbo Slice. But I can't, for the life of me, find out who their heavyweight champion is. How do I get a title fight? To compete for a title in Street Beefs, you must have 3+ wins and put on a good show. From the title committee, we'll put you on a contenders list. This is amazing. They have a championship committee. They're like the National Wrestling Alliance. They have a championship committee. So all I got to do is beat 3 bums and I get a title shot. That's essentially what they're saying. I love the fact that they have to put all over their website No one is paid to fight here. Wow. No one is paid to fight here. Oh, street beefs. The street beefs. Or Street Beefs HQ. So dumb. So dumb. It's got to be streetbeefs.com or something. You've got to do something, boys. You've got to come up with something here. They have an About Us section where they tell everybody, no one gets paid. I think they literally should have that on their website. No one gets paid, like over and over and over and over in a constant loop. They have Street Beefs. They have a West Coast division. See, and this is why I think that the idiots in Kansas just stole their intellectual property and are just calling themselves Street Beefs. Because they're not really Street Beefs. They're using the logo even. I can almost guarantee you they're not Street Beefs. They're not an official Street Beefs. Okay, I found some rankings. I found OG Yard, whatever that is. Boxing top 17. Venom Black is the number one guy. Now, would he be considered the heavyweight champion? They have an MMA and they have a boxing, and that's it. They have Gorilla. Let's look at the boxing, because I don't care about the MMA. I'm never going to do anything in the MMA. I did one MMA fight. One amateur MMA fight. Hated it. Never going to do it again. I don't like those tiny little gloves. I'll get hit with a boxing glove all day long, but I'm not going to get hit with a little tiny, 4-ounce glove. Venom Black, whoever that is. Showtime. Probably not Anthony Pettis. Beast, who is probably not Bob Sapp. Money Meal. Somebody named Bad News, not related to Bad News Allen, I'm sure. Little Mac. Not Little Mac, Lil Mac. He'll be bringing me my drinks at Sonic later. If you've heard that story, go back in the archives. King Madness, and it's Madness as in M-A-D-N-E-S. Madness. Like Elliot Ness, I guess. Lord Bestiban. It's got to be Mexican. Got to be Mexican. There's not a black guy named Lord Bestiban. Gorilla. You never know. It could be some really small, tiny white guy from Virginia. Could be Gorilla. Emmanuel. Man in the Mirror. I hope his entrance music is Man in the Mirror. I don't think they have entrance music in Street Beefs. I'd have to pay a DJ. Fair Play, not to be confused with former Survivor contestant Johnny Fairplay. BRBG, whoever that is. Hitman Hamilton, which just sounds like a boxing name. Hitman Hamilton. Baby J, whoever that is. And The Intimidator. What would be fantastic is that if the guy dressed like Dale Earnhardt Sr., that would be great. I would be a huge fan if The Intimidator was basically a Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Earnhardt Sr. cosplay. Division is number 17. Division. The bottom of this is fantastic. You can't write this humor any better than this. The bottom ranking on the top 17 boxing division, wait for it, is a guy named Division. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Street Beefs. Go get you some Street Beefs. God. Okay, who is this guy? I want to put a photo of this guy up. Let's get a shot of this guy. This guy. Who is this guy? Who the hell is that guy? He looks like he's got a rap album coming out. That belt is pretty badass. That would look great behind my desk here. Street Beefs. By the way, no bullshit. That's the division right there. As you can see, Venom Black, Showtime, and at the bottom is division. Literally, the last part of division is division. I love it. This is probably my favorite feud so far this year. It's me and the Street Beefs, guys. Okay, now I did find a video. Since I can't actually find out who the hell the heavyweight champion is, I would assume it's the black guy that I just showed you on screen, but I could be wrong. Who knows? So, these two guys are heavyweights, and supposedly this heavyweight can't be stopped, according to the title of this YouTube thing. Now, both of these guys, I'll just tell you right now, would stand zero chance against me. Because if I'm fighting the doofy-looking guy with the hair, and by doofy-looking guy, the guy with the T-shirt, the guy with the shorts, well, we'll just say the guy with the shorts versus the guy with the hoodie. The guy with the shorts, he's got reach, and he's not using it. He's got no footwork. He's not protecting his body at all. All I really would have to do is dropping his hands. That's ridiculous. He's gassed, by the way, which is why he's dropping his hands. And you can tell he's terribly nervous. When he did that little number a second ago where he went to go grab on, I'd hit him with an uppercut and send his head into the front row. The black guy in the red with the red hat would have caught it. I would have hit him so hard. He keeps dropping his hands, which is ridiculous because anybody who drops their hands around me is going to get their head taken off. He's winded. He's done nothing. I would hand this guy his ass. He would be... Look at that. Look at that. A stiff wind could knock this guy over. Who's this ref or this announcer? Who is this guy? Now, let's focus on the other guy. The other guy is the guy in the hoodie. And the guy in the hoodie swings wildly. He kind of knows what he's doing. He's got some defense. He's got some dynamite in his hands. I'll tell you, if the guy in the hoodie would be worth his salt at all in boxing, he would have thrown a couple jabs, come in with a right hand over the top, and would have dropped this kid. Would have dropped this doofy guy with the hair. And for one thing, the whole technique of trying to get to his head, clearly you're not going to get to this guy's head. I do like the Floyd Mayweather stance. I do like that. I've used that a few times on kickboxing guys, and they just are so damn frustrated with me. But, I would sneak in and just tear that body up, man. I'd tear that body up and just make this guy do exactly what he just did. Spit his mouthpiece out, get tired, and go home. He is running on empty. And I don't mean the song. I can't believe this fight is as long as it is. Let's try to find an end to this. Okay, so the guy Yeah. Hit him with uppercuts. He's doing exactly what he should do. This is over. This is over. This is over. This is over. Okay. So the doofy guy with the hair quits. Shocking. I would have quit. If I was him, I would have given up during instructions. Now, the guy with the hoodie, pretty decent. Pretty decent. I think I could take both of them. You give me a month, I could take them both. I could probably take them both in the same day. I'm that confident. I could beat one. You give me 2 hours, an hour. Give me an hour. Give me an hour. I'd fight one at the beginning of the show, and I'd fight one at the end of the show. And I'd beat them both. And just for shits and giggles, I'd come back the next month, I'd fight somebody else, and then I'd get my title shot. And then I would fight D or whoever the hell has the belt. And that wouldn't be good for them, because I'd take their belt. And then I probably wouldn't show back up. After I won their belt, I'd be like CM Punk when he beat Cena. He's like, I'm going out. Actually, what I'd probably do is I'd be like Shane Douglas with the NWA title, and I'd throw their belt in the trash. I'd be like, if you, I'll tell you, I would have a situation where I would be like, if you guys have absolutely no talent and let me come in here and win your belt, this belt is trash. But here's the deal. The Street Beefs guys know how to get a hold of me. I would love to fight somebody in Street Beefs. Wherever the hell they hold these things, Virginia or whatever. Of course it's in Virginia. Like I said, I would fight one of the Street Beefs guys. I don't want to fight, though, a bunch of schlubs. I want them to go find the biggest, baddest street beefers, and I will fight each and every one of them. And I'll do this. This whole thing. Brother. Dude. That whole thing. I'd fight the street beefers and I'd beat them. I'd beat them. It's just the way it is. They'd all go down. So that is that. That wraps it up here for this edition of our big broadcast. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more coming up.